Hi, good morning. This is Rod. I'm the mayoral candidate for the Credible Alternative First Movement in Cape Town. And I thought I'll talk a bit about why, probably one of the two things that makes me a good candidate. And I think that would make me stand above some of the others that are there. The one is leadership, and the other one is pluck or guts. Let's talk about leadership a bit. I've been taking on leadership roles probably from birth. I'm the eldest of 6 brothers, so I took a leadership role there in the family. I still do that. At school, high school, I was the head boy, and I was the chairperson of the SRC. I also attended meetings of the Committee of 81. Although I wasn't one of the top people, but I was part of the Committee of 81. At university, I was known as one of the rebel rousers at UCT. Many can attest to that. Youth politics, I was on the executive of the youth formation, Belgravia Youth Congress. I think I played the secretarial role there as well. Then into more community politics or structured politics. I was on the branch executive of the ANC in Kensington. After that, I also became the head of the administrative head of the ANC Civil Service Unit. I served there with Salim Mani was a political head. Dr. Alan Busak appointed me as a head of that. Then in government, sure. Then, oh yes, I was the head of the strategic management teams of the ANC or government in the Western Cape. I coordinated the establishment of SMTs after 1994. I coordinated the whole ceremony around the lowering and lowering of the old flag and the raising of the new flag, the eve of elections in 1994. It was televised live, I think, by SABC at the time. Government, I created the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. I was its first head of department. I served on numerous boards and committees, etc., in government and outside of government. I served on the Olympic Board Committee. I served on the Interim Western Cape Board, Interim Western Cape Tourism Board, Cape Craft and Design Council I was on. I was a chairman of the South African National Boxing Commission, where I had to go and sort out the issues in boxing. Nonde Balfour appointed me as that. I was a commissioner, officiated the World Boxing Heavyweight fight between Lennox Lewis and Asim Rahman in South Africa, up in Joburg. I said I served on the board of the Olympic Committee. I am the chairperson of the Council of Ezekiel Museums of South Africa. I'm proud to say that it had 2 unqualified audits under my term. I was in the council and the executive of the National Film and Video Foundation. I currently am on the council of the National Heritage Council. I served on various other boards, entities. I I started the Yes We Can Sport and Jazz Foundation, which I chair, which is my giving back to society. Yes, I started the CA1st Forum, a civil society organization that pushed back against corruption and unaccountable leadership. There were 15 very experienced, highly qualified, committed South Africans that I led, and we grew it to over 5,000, almost 6,000 supporters on a Facebook group. But I'm sure there are many others that didn't join but supported us. And then now I started the Credible Alternative First movement, CA1st, where we are going to contest elections. And I'm keen to go in there and to use all of my leadership and management skills and can-do skills to go and give people a credible alternative in Cape Town, because Cape Townians deserve better. Then the other thing why I think I would be suitable, I've got guts and I got pluck. Sure, I got so many stuff I did. I remember with the Paulsmore March, let me use this example. I like to use practical examples. Paulsmore March, what was it, 1985, Kromboom Road, etc. The police chased us. Some of us ran into Hewitt, the then Hewitt training ground. I picked up a tear gas canister and I threw it back at the police. Back in the day, the soldiers were marching down Belgravia Road, and I'll never forget that, in their coats and their long rifles. We said we were going to make Belgravia ungovernable. We wanted to change the name of Belgravia. We were burning tires, etc. There was a petrol truck close to the Wembley, there by the garage. I think it was a Shell garage or something. Stopped there. I got onto that truck. I wanted to, I don't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to light that thing. But then everyone was shouting, Rod, no. I imagine what would have happened. I would have blown up, everybody else would have blown up, but I thought, let me blow this thing up to blow up the soldiers. Yeah, pluck when we marched to Stuart Saunders at Dr. Stuart Saunders, the Vice Chancellor at UCT, the student accommodation crisis, loads of things. When I was in government, I stood up against someone called Neil Barnard, who was the DG of the province at the time. We had huge demonstrations, but I stood my ground to such an extent that he went at me in one meeting, and I took it on the chin. We engaged. Then in the next meeting that we had, he came to apologize, which I think was actually big of him, but I had the guts to stand up. When I was in government, there were accusations against me. Obviously the NNP and the DA wanted to get rid of me. I stood my ground again. I said, no, go and investigate. I don't want to, people wanted to intervene, ANC people, and so I said, no, I don't, let them investigate. They investigate. I stepped aside. I did something else. I think I ran the Masekani program for a period, a few months. And then they cleared me. Then the other pluck, obviously, I think the big pluck was to start CA1st Forum, where we push back against a mighty state machinery and ANC machinery, in terms led by Jacob Zuma and all of his cohorts who were both in the ANC and were in parliament and in cabinet. and we relentlessly campaigned. We arranged marches, we did petitions, we slept on the streets of Cape Town, etc., etc. Until today, state capture, it's come out about state capture. People have fallen on their sword. Zuma is no longer president. Some of his ministers are no longer there. But we were, let's use a motley crew of about 15. We started. Some of our petitions or pickets, only 2 of us in Parliament, Hazel and myself. Sometimes there were many, sometimes there were thousands, like the march that we arranged in Cape Town. So yeah, and I think the biggest pluck and the guts is actually to put our hat in the ring at the 11th hour. When it was thought that no one can contest elections anymore. And when I saw the candidates that the other parties were putting up, mostly white males, and they're offering, then I said, now or never, I need to do this. We had no money, we still have no money. Some people made small donations. I think we had about 10,000 Rand in the coffers of the CA1st Forum. I put some of my own money in there as well, and obviously we'll declare it at the end of it, and so on. So yeah, so that's a pluck that I have, and I stood up against some powerful people, and people were saying, Rod, you're wasting your time, etc. So lots are saying that I'm wasting my time in terms of trying to go into council and make a difference. I know my pluck, my expertise, and my background is going to pull me through this with others. And yeah, it would be interesting to go up there in the city of Cape Town, to go and shake things up, to show them how things can be done differently. And my main thing is to turn Cape Town into a humane, caring, can-do and entrepreneurial city. Not this world-class, which is really two cities in one city kind of nonsense that they're trying to sell to us. So yeah, so that's why I think what I can offer in a nutshell. I can obviously add more, but that is the 2 things is leadership and pluck or guts. So go onto our website, www.ca1st.org.za, and I hope that many of you who were not going to vote or are disgruntled or disillusioned will find your way clear to support CA1st on the day. Even if you support an independent candidate, I'll talk a bit about independent candidates on another posting. You can still support for us in terms of your pure vote.